Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today we will discuss the two-front situation that India is facing from China and Pakistan at the borders. It appears as if border disputes with India are being created under a mission, first by Pakistan and now China. This is what Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said while referring to the face-off at the Ladakh border. Significantly, he made the remarks when military commanders of India and China were holding their 7th round of talks. In the agenda today, we will try to analyze these remarks of the Defence Minister along with the prevailing situation. To help us understand this, we have with us retired Brigadier Sandeep Thapar and retired Brigadier Dr. Vinod Datta. But before we start our conversation, let us have a look at this small report.
Six months after China launched aggression on the Ladakh sector of line of actual control, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has talked about it being a deliberate action by China. He has said that it appears that border disputes are being created under a mission, first by Pakistan and now China. India shares about 7,000 kilometers of border with Pakistan and China, and there is tension often in some or the other sector, he noted. The Defence Minister said that despite such problems, the nation is not just dealing with these challenges with great determination, but also bringing about crucial changes in all sectors. His remark came as military commanders of India and China held their 7th round of talks at the LAC on the face-off, which has been created since May. The 6th round of talks have failed to end the standoff between China's belligerent attitude. Even after the latest round of talks, China has claimed that the standoff in Ladakh began because of infrastructure construction by India. It has also again said that it does not recognize Ladakh as an Indian territory. Indian Army said the two sides exchanged views on disengagement and that the meeting was marked by enhanced understanding of each other's position. The Indian Army spokesperson said both sides agreed to earnestly implement the important understanding reached by the leaders of the two countries, not to turn differences into dispute and jointly safeguard peace and tranquility in the border areas. Significantly, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has underlined that India-China talk will not yield any result and emphasized on the need for pushback to China. The U.S. has noted that China has amassed 60,000 troops at the LAC. Possibly his view is practical. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Brigadier Datta and Brigadier Thapar. Welcome to the program, sirs. My first question is to Brigadier Thapar. You must have read about what Defence Minister has said that about two-front situation. Are you surprised?
Not at all. One and two seeing that. See, I think it was in your program only a month ago where I said, we talked about this frequently, where I said that Pakistan will do everything in its power to create situations unfavorable on the western border so that it can hinder our operations against China if they happen. I do not feel that we are at the moment facing likely to be a two-front scenario in this case. While operationally prepared, we should be prepared for a two-front, but I do not think we are seeing a two-front scenario in this case. But still, should something happen against China, Pakistan can be trusted to create some kind of mischief so that to put us at a little disadvantage.
Okay, now let me turn to Brigadier Datta. We have been talking about two-front war situation or war scenario for years, and our security establishment has been talking about, our top commanders of the armed forces have been talking about it. So my question is, were those only statements, or there has been preparation in this regard also.
Uh, Ajayji, India has been always preparing for a two-front war. And ever since, the then Defense Minister, George Fernandez, he had apprised people that, yes, we must look at China from a different angle, though people did not take it very seriously.
In fact, George Fernandez has said China is our enemy number one, and he was mocked.
Exactly. These were his exact words. Yes. So, people did not take it very seriously, and now, people are now realizing, and those words are now, they are resonating in your ears. Since 2007, and I vividly remember General Deepak Kapoor was the Chief of the Army Staff then, we have been thinking on a two-front war. And in a lot of teachings and a lot of practices, we have rehearsed and we have discussed this scenario. Because we were always aware, and if you go back in history, you will realize that whether it is 1965 war or 71 war, China has played an important role against India, and it has been always favoring Pakistan. You see, in earlier scenario, what was expected is that China can get you, say, about 30 odd divisions against you. And now with this change scenario and the equations which have been redefined, the Taiwan factor coming in, India also putting up a very formidable front, and the raising of these two formidable formations, that is 14 Corps and the 17 Mountain Strike Corps. It has become a very difficult task for China. But yes, this two-front war, India is prepared, and what Brigadier Thapar had already said, that yes, Pakistan can create some kind of problems. And if you remember, on 6th of October, there has been a meeting in Rawalpindi where the army has issued a diktat that all your hospitals in Gilgit-Baltistan, 15% beds will be reserved for the army.
Right.
And so the preparations are on. The villages have started. People have started vacating, and they have also deployed some kind of air defense elements on the on ridges and and some of the buildings there.
So, Brigadier Thapar, as we just talked about this Pakistan element, so as we talk about two-front war, but we have always been focused on Pakistan, on the western border. We have almost ignored the China border. I mean, we have been very complacent about it, maybe because of Hindi Chini bye bye slogans again. So, how do you see that situation?
First, let me tell you something interesting. This China's enemy number one, head by Mr. George Fernandez, was in the year 1998. 97, 98, when
he first became defense minister.
Yes.
Yes.
And he came for briefing in the MO op group, and I used to be a GSO 2 in MO. The first day we briefed him on Pakistan. Then after 2 days we briefed him on China. That's where the DGMO told him, till then, related to your question, till then we were totally Pakistan focused. So that's the day DGMO told him, sir, actually our focus stays on Pakistan most of the time because of the LC firings and all that. But China is our enemy number one. And immediately after that, he made this statement, and people attributed it to him, but actually it was a DGMO who said it in front of me. We used to be showing the slides behind. So that is part of old
interesting
memories.
Insight, sir.
Old memories. Now, what further to what Brigadier Datta said, you see, since our focus used to be Pakistan, our strike corps, our offensive elements were all Pakistan biased, based in bias, based in the sense facing Pakistan. All tasks were somewhere. We decided to raise a mountain strike force. A good thought, because before that, our two-front scenario was that it would basically be 1.5 front. We won't fight both countries, but we would fight one major country and some should-put action by the other country where we would require some elements. And our battle plans are all drawn on the fact that should something happen on the Western Front, we move certain formations from the Eastern Front and vice versa. So, in their wisdom, the army decided that we'll raise a mountain strike force, which is extensively China-based focus, which will probably be possibly, I think, Arunachal.
But I think, sir, the Mountain Strike Corps has not made much progress. If I'm not wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Very good plan, put into action, but somewhere people faltered. Money stopped going in, and a plan started. The entire edifice started getting smaller, and we are still midway in that Mountain Strike Corps. Its entire complement is not ready as yet. So we lose focus. Secondly, for China, Chinese have got a road right up to each company on the LSC. Whereas we don't have roads, or we still following book.
We are doing a catch up.
Yes, up to our battalion. The 73 strategic roads. I've been hearing from 2000, year 2000. I've been handling. I was director of media. I've been handling. 2001 we've been saying strategic roads 73 has been big. We've not been able to create 73 strategic roads against China. It is now that under the present BRO, General Harpar, who's a very dear friend, that we are doing some positive action, and the government is also pushing in the requisite funds. Otherwise, slip-ups were there. Our senior commanders and our politicians did not emphasize enough on the Chinese threat, and we did not prepare adequate infrastructure. Even now our progress is very slow. We always remained Pakistan focused. We thought possibly that China kuch nahi karega. Himalayas are our best defense, and we've got adequate capability. After raising 14 corps and a little mountain strike corps halfway, we are somewhere home, but we're not fully home as yet.
Right. So, Brigadier Datta, as we talk about infrastructure development, China today, after the 7th round of talks, again they have said today that India is responsible for the standoff because of its infrastructure construction at the LAC. And it again says that, blaming India for that. How do you see that?
It's a marriage of convenience, Ajayji, as far as China is concerned. What Brigadier Thapar had already said, that they have a good network, of communications, whether it is surface transport, rail, or whatever, right up to the company defended localities.
State of preparedness and infrastructure is in a state of neglect, and it was, and if I use the word, it was in shambles, and now it is catching up. One of the reasons why China
is perturbed and is cut up is because of the heightened infrastructure development which we are doing it. And if you see the eastern Ladakh was not the center stage of his intrusions. If you go back a couple of years back, it was basically northeast.
Right.
But now the very fact that the Gwadar port, the CPC, and the other links which he's made, whether it is Karakoram Highway or it is CPC, or the link between Gilgit-Baltistan and Tibet, which he's trying to develop a fair weather road. So his focus has already shifted in that, and he always wanted that India should be a second mover and they should not take any initiative. And the infrastructure in northeast still remains a big question mark. Now I'll just come back on the two-front war also. Like in two-front war, it was basically focused on, the primary front was Pakistan, and secondary front was China.
That China will help them.
Because post Wuhan and post Mamallapuram, we always thought that our relations are, quite nice and cordial. So we should not, and we have large number of accords. So we should not bother about, China. But today it has proved otherwise. And the kind of infrastructure like Daulat Beg Oldie, you see the airstrip, and that DBO road, these are the two trigger points which China feels that yes, by developing them, his defenses or his designs have been made untenable, As far as CPC and Karakoram, if you see from, pass, that Kunjre Pass, which goes there, so China is really worried on
No,
this.
we have been developing infrastructure, but slowly, not aggressively as China has done. That's actually we have lacked there,
Yeah.
isn't it? Brigadier Datta.
Yeah. It is quite slow. It is not, like if you see earlier there was only one axis, that was Jozila, and for better part of the year it was closed.
Right.
Since I was, involved in advanced winter stocking also, the Manali, Upshi, Pang, that axis was in such a bad shape that it could not take on the sustained traffic. Now we have, three axes, like this Manali tunnel has also, the Atal tunnel has also been inaugurated and dedicated. Then you have the Padam axis, which has reduced almost 110 kilometers of the distance, and 110 kilometers in mountains means a lot. And by 2026, Zozila will be, all weather, 24/7, 365 days. It will be open for winter stocking. So all these, measures which the government has taken, though we have, woken up late, but ये है कि देर आए दुरुस्त आए.
Okay, Brigadier Thapar, China, as I mentioned earlier, Chinese Foreign Minister again said today that we don't recognize Ladakh as Indian territory. At the same time, even given these provocations, we are still following the one China policy. I mean, accepting that. We are not questioning them on Taiwan, we are not questioning them on Tibet. Why are we scared?
See, it's not that we are scared. It is a policy which is a legacy of MEA, diplomacy, some thought-out decisions which we've taken over the past 30-40 years.
But sir, policies have to be dynamic, no? Given the situations, is it?
Tell that to the MEA because they drive the foreign policy. I feel yes, you feel yes. All of us feel that we should be questioning China on Taiwan and Tibet, but there must be certain compulsions of our own, or the implications are better known to MEA on this. Why they are not doing it? Because let's be practical. A former chief once told me very as recently till 2010 or 11. He said, "Let us bide our time. We are not militarily or economically as strong as China today. Let us prepare our military forces. Let us economically rise as a nation so that in 30 odd years, by 20, 35, 40, we are able to see China in the eye and mean business without China threatening us back." So there has to be a certain parity. Military parity exists in certain form. But it is the economic parity which is more essential. Can we sustain a long war vis-a-vis China? Where are our economies? Where do we stand on those? So these are all factors. A comprehensive national power has to be taken into account. So I'm sure they have their plans, whether they want to do it or when they want to do it, at what level they want to take this fight. How much you want to rouse the opponent is the thing, which I guess is again a political decision.
Okay, Brigadier Datta, I want to ask you the same question. Your views on this?
My views are slightly different, and yes, I also agree with the Brigadier Thapar that yes, we must rake up this card, and this is high time that if you go back to Shimla Accord of 1914, the accord was between Great Britain, India, and Tibet.
Right.
So we must take up this case, and I was also reading somewhere that there has been an accord which India has signed and which India recognized Tibet, that yes, the Chinese presence is recognized, And there, I was reading also that India is not going to rake up this matter, but it is high time, since the equations have changed, since the geostrategic implications have changed. We must take up this case, and if we are housing the government in exile in Dharamshala, we might, take up a case to reinstate it to the place where it belongs. You see, we must also take up the case of the Uyghur Muslims.
Right.
So it is not the right, or it is not the might of the big countries that they only can rake up these issues in various international platforms. We should also rake up these issues.
I think Brigadier Thapar wants to say something.
Yeah.
The other day, there's BJP MLA or Delhi Bagga, is it?
Bagga.
He posted
A Taiwan poster.
Map.
Taiwan poster on this thing, and there was a reaction from the Chinese. They're so sensitive to that. There's a BJP politicians are doing that. Global Times also wrote about it. So that's what I'm saying.
So that's what I'm saying. Why don't we irritate them further when they are irritating us?
Before you irritate them further, you have to be prepared for all the consequences. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying let's not do it. Let's do it. So maybe MEA has a time plan. Maybe MEA has something in store for us.
Okay, Brigadier Thapar, I may draw your attention to Michael Pompeo's recent statement, that he says talks won't yield any results. China needs pushback. So, what do you say on that?
There is no doubt that, you see, these are, you've got to see all statements from the political aspect. Let's be very clear, Ajay. You have friends in the international forum. They will go to a point to support you. And they will only go there if they've got their own strategic interest also. In this case, let us also see the American election. Everything has to be seen from that perspective.
Right.
Those also play a big part. So when countries come and say, I'm not saying that they will not support us in war. They may provide us certain equipment at a nobody's going to come and fight with us. Especially when it comes to a powerful enemy like China. Anyway, everyone can rise a small nation in the Middle East, but when it comes to China, people will hedge their bets quite a bit. So all such statements should be seen positively, that they support us, they are putting more pressure on China, but then they are just rhetorical statements.
Okay, we are running out of time. So one last question to Brigadier Datta. Taking over from what Pompeo said, the Deputy Secretary of State, who is in India, also has said yesterday that we are bound by common aspirations and common interests. We may not be allies. So how do you see that? I mean, they are also saying that it's not that if you are an allies, we don't have to be reciprocal in that sense, like we have been centuries old. How do you see that statement?
Yeah, it is. If you see the interest of India and USA now are aligned to an extent, though we have not entered into any kind of formal alliances. But yes, Indo-Pacific, we look in the same direction, and you see, this is the right time, and what Mike Pompeo is saying is right. That yes, we should be able to push them back, because it is not, it is not launching any offensive, or it is basically pushing the enemy back from our territory. And since the situation is in our favor, and the other shoulders are also sealed because of the presence of America in South China Sea or in the Indian Ocean region, we must, because the window is, say, about 15-20 days, where we can do something. Otherwise, we are waiting there till cows come home.
Right. So we must give a pushback to China. But thank you, both of you, for participating in this debate.
Thank you.
This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.